The morning begins with the factory's usual noise, but something feels heavier than routine. He walks the floor, noticing sparks near a belt, a missing guard on a press, and stacked boxes leaning dangerously. He brings his completed safety report to the manager, hoping logic will finally matter. Instead, the manager pulls the pages from his hands and feeds them into the shredder as workers pause mid-task. The sound of grinding paper fills the room while no one breathes. He watches the fragments fall, then turns toward the old conveyor where wires flicker like warnings. In that instant, he knows silence has become a risk. Someone could be hurt because leadership decided appearances mattered more than protection. He leaves the office quietly, already deciding his next move. He walks out of the office, knowing the manager has no idea who he has just tried to silence. Years earlier, he trained in compliance, learning the codes that keep dangerous environments safe. He remembers colleagues who lost fingers, hearing, mobility, all because warnings were ignored. While management thinks he is another replaceable employee, he has studied the renewal schedule for the plant's license and knows the inspection window is approaching. Violations this severe cannot be hidden once the right eyes see them. What the manager dismissed as noise is in fact a detailed record of every neglected hazard. Experience has taught him that leadership often underestimates quiet men who pay attention. He walks the floor again, confirming what he already knows. This time, the truth will not stay buried. That evening, he sits at his kitchen table with a notebook open, reviewing every hazard he observed. When he places the call to the state inspector, his voice remains calm, almost conversational. He explains that a few issues might need review, then begins listing them. The inspector stops writing halfway through and asks him to repeat the part about the electrical panel. His tone shifts from routine interest to urgent concern. Chemical storage without ventilation is mentioned, and the line grows silent. The inspector asks when he is available to meet. He replies that he will be at the factory before sunrise. As he ends the call, he feels no triumph. He isn't seeking revenge. He is ensuring no one else pays for management's shortcuts. By mid-morning, 3 inspectors step through the entrance without warning. Clipboards in hand, they move with purpose, heading straight toward the malfunctioning conveyor. Workers glance at each other, unsure whether to stop or continue. The supervisors attempt to guide the inspectors elsewhere, but they are ignored. Measurements begin, photographs are taken, and one inspector crouches near exposed wiring with a look of disbelief. They open cabinets, check chemical labels, and question employees who hesitate before answering. A strong odor drifts from the storage room, making one inspector cover his nose and request immediate access. The manager appears with a strained smile, inviting them to his office, but they continue their examination as if he is invisible. It becomes clear this is not a routine visit. Something significant has begun. The manager summons him with a voice that sounds forced and thinner than usual. When he enters the office, the manager sits rigidly, hands clasped, trying to appear composed. He asks whether he knows why the inspectors arrived. The man answers with steady calm, saying concerns were ignored for too long. The sincerity unsettles the manager more than any accusation. Outside the office window, inspectors continue their work, pointing toward damaged equipment and failed safeguards. The manager finally looks directly at him, realizing the person he dismissed so casually understood the plant better than anyone else in the building. The shift in power is quiet but unmistakable. As he leaves the office, he sees the manager exhale shakily, sensing that control has slipped from his hands. Inside the conference room, inspectors request all safety documentation from the past year. Managers stack binders on the table, filled with vague reports and recycled statements. One inspector asks specifically for the report submitted last week. Silence spreads slowly, revealing the truth before anyone speaks. The manager hesitates, then mentions it was disposed of. The inspector turns toward the man and asks him to recount its contents in detail. He describes the hazards clearly, hazard by hazard, while another inspector retrieves the shredded remains from the waste bin. When they see the fragments, the lead inspector closes the folder and issues a direct order for everyone to evacuate immediately. The room empties in stunned confusion as alarms echo through the building. The investigation has reached a turning point. Outside, workers gather in clusters, trying to understand what just happened. Families arrive after hearing rumors, and the parking lot fills with anxious discussions. Inspectors place large notices on the doors, announcing that the facility is shut down due to imminent danger. Cameras from local news outlets appear, capturing the moment leadership hoped would never be public. The manager attempts to shift blame, claiming no one reported problems, but employees finally speak. They share stories of malfunctioning presses, near misses, and ignored complaints. Their voices strengthen each other's accounts, revealing the long pattern of neglect. The truth spreads quickly, leaving management without defense. As the gates close, the man stands quietly among the workers, knowing this outcome was never about punishment. It was about preventing the harm everyone feared. Months pass, and the factory reopens under new ownership committed to rebuilding trust. New equipment replaces outdated machines, and mandatory training becomes part of daily operations. Supervisors from the previous regime are gone, replaced by leaders who understand the importance of accountability. The man is offered a senior compliance role because he proved reliability rather than seeking attention. He accepts only after confirming that safety will stay at the center of every decision. Workers greet him with respect earned through action, not title. For anyone who has ever been dismissed or silenced, his journey becomes a reminder that experience carries weight and integrity shapes outcomes. He never wanted recognition. He wanted a workplace where people go home unharmed. In the end, that became his legacy.